The Citroen C4 Cactus, when it was first introduced in 2014, it made quite a splash thanks to its quirky styling and of course those famous air bump panels. The car has recently been given a facelift and it's, well, a bit toned down. Yes, you have still got the air bump panels, but they have decreased significantly in size. The looks are a little bit more conservative and it's now more of a sensible hatchback as opposed to a funky, quirky crossover.
Does it mean it's lost all of its quirkiness then?
Although the new C4 Cactus looks a little bit more sensible, thankfully it has kept quirky features from its predecessor. For example, the glove box is mounted on top of the dashboard and the actual design is inspired by the world of travel. And it opens up like so, there's a good amount of space in there. Now in case you're wondering, you do still get an airbag for your front passenger, but it's actually mounted in the roof. The advantage of doing this is obviously you can have the glove box here and it also gives your front passenger more leg room. So not only is it quite quirky, it's also quite ingenious. The speedometer has got no rev counter whatsoever, which is interesting. Who needs revs anyway? Revs are overrated, apparently, according to Citroen. But the pièce de résistance has to be the pop-out rear windows. That's right, this car has got pop-out rear windows despite being a 5-door hatchback. Now in fairness, the windows operate easily enough. You've got a clip in here which pops out, there we are, click it into place, and then you can unclick it like so, pop them back in and click it securely back into place. Now you may wonder why Citroen has done this. Well, it's actually to save weight. By having pop-out rear windows, this car saves a total of 11 kilograms, which sounds all good and well, but this car is already a fair bit lighter than its rivals. Therefore, I kind of think this is unnecessary. You don't need to go to such extremes to save weight, if you ask me. So Citroen, please give us normal windows because these are a bit mad.
Okay, so the quirks are still in place, but can it also be practical as well?
So let's start with space, more specifically the boot. Now before I get onto the boot actually, just one thing, the previous Cactus didn't have 60/40 rear seats, it simply had a flat bench. The new model does, which will be more practical, but in regards to boot space, if you open up the tailgate, you will find 358 litres at your disposal, which is quite generous, but it's not the biggest in its class. However, if you need more space, you can of course fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you 1,170 litres. So this car should be more than capable of dealing with family life. However, there is a slight problem. There's quite a high, thick lip on the entrance of the boot. So if you've got bigger or heavier items, you may find it to be a little bit inconvenient, but on the whole, the boot is pretty respectable. Let's talk about rear space. Now, if you are a taller person, like myself, there's a very good chance you will struggle back here because there's not a lot of space, particularly when you're sat behind a driver's seat, which has been set for me. I'm 6'2", and yep, I'm cramped back here. To be fair, legroom is okay, and I can fit my feet underneath the seat in front of me, but knee room is where I'm really struggling. My knees would be in the back of the driver in front of me if there were one, and as you can see, oh dear, headroom isn't particularly brilliant either. However, for smaller adults and of course children, it will be absolutely fine. Could you fit 3 adults back here? No, I don't think you could. It'll be too much of a squeeze. However, 3 children, yes, that should be absolutely fine. And of course, you've got ISOFIX points as well. Thankfully, the front is a more spacious place to be. Let me step in like so. Right, so I've got a good amount of headroom, even for my 6'2" frame. Shoulder room is pretty good, but I would want a little bit more elbow room because when I've had a passenger here, I have knocked elbows sometimes, so there could be a little bit of room for improvement, quite literally. However, outer elbow room has been improved because the door cards have been sculpted and you've now got a little bit of soft touch material in which to rest your elbow, which is quite nice. Now let's talk about getting a driving position, which is quite easy because the steering wheel adjusts for rake and reach. If I can find the lever, there we go. So it adjusts for rake and reach like so. And my seat has also got a good level of adjustment. Now, for me, I did find it took a little bit longer to get a comfortable driving position, purely because I find the clutch and brake pedals to be quite high. So normally I'd be sat down to my lowest, but I've had to raise the seat up in order to get more comfortable. But that's a personal complaint that may not affect you watching. Now let's talk about cubby holes. There's a good amount of them, as you would expect from a family hatchback. So the door bins are of a good size, but if you wanted to get a large bottle in them, which you can, I've got a 1 litre bottle behind me. There we are. You can get a bottle in them, but you have to lay it down. So when you're driving along, it slides about, and that is a little bit annoying. You do get 2 cup holders in the middle. I've got another bottle here. Now, they look pretty decent. However, this bottle of Ribena, it sits fine, but as soon as you start driving, it wobbles about and it will eventually fall out. So that's not very practical indeed. So that is quite annoying. You've also got a little shelf here where... Damn bottle. You've also got a little shelf here where you can put your smartphone. Little compartment here, which is quite a decent space. You can put a few smaller items in there. And of course you've got that top mounted glove box, which again offers a decent amount of space. So it's pretty good in here. It could be a little bit more practical if I'm going to be really nitpicky, but still should be absolutely fine for most of you watching looking to buy this car. Now let's talk about the interior style. Now I really like it. Yes, I won't lie, there are quite a lot of hard scratchy materials, but this is a reasonably priced family car, so you can't be too critical. The dashboard is nice to look at. It's got a nice soft touch material to it. It looks interesting. I like the steering wheel. It's wrapped in leather and it feels really nice, and the seats are really, really comfortable. Now I will talk about these seats in greater detail a little bit later when I'm driving, but I really like the interior. It's a nice place to be. However, if you want to have different styling packs, you can buy them. So you can get a styling pack. Well, there's 4 styling packs you can get as an optional extra. So this is the standard look, but you can have a few different looks if you want something a little bit more jazzy. Because I'm in the range-topping Flair model, I also get this lovely panoramic roof, which really helps to give a nice airy feel in here. Now, it doesn't open, nor does it have a blind, and that's again to save weight, much like the pop-out rear windows, but it is tinted. Therefore, you won't be dazzled and you won't cook in here whilst you're driving when the sun is out. It's got the same level of tinting as Category 4 sunglasses, which sounds pretty good. Anyway, speaking of driving, I think it's about time I hit the road. The new C4 Cactus offers a good range of engines. You can either have a choice of 2 petrol engines or 2 diesel. Representing the petrol contingent, you have a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder PureTech engine, which can be offered in either 110 horsepower or 130 horsepower. And representing the diesel corner, you can either have a 1.5 litre diesel, which offers 101 horsepower, or a 1.6 litre diesel, which offers 120 horsepower. I've got the 1.5 litre diesel. By the way, every engine is turbocharged for better efficiency and performance. But yes, as I was saying, I've got the 1.5 litre diesel, which, as I mentioned, kicks out 101 horsepower with 250 newton meters of torque. This power is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox, and power is fed to the front wheels. So let's talk about this 6-speed manual gearbox. The changes are notchy, if I'm going to be honest. Does it really spoil the driving experience? No, but I would want it to be a little bit slicker and for the change to be a little bit shorter. Now, if you don't want a manual gearbox, you can have a 6-speed automatic, but you can't have it with this engine. You will need to get either the 110 horsepower unit petrol or the 120 horsepower unit diesel. This car is of course a family car, therefore I'm sure most of you watching aren't too fussed about performance stats. However, in case you are, this car will hit 62 miles per hour in 10 seconds and continue to a top speed of 118 miles per hour. This diesel engine makes pretty good progress. It does sound a little bit gruff though, particularly when you start it up and when you rev it, but when you slow down to a cruise, thankfully it does quieten down. It is still audible, but is it intrusive? No, it isn't whatsoever. Now, whilst I'm talking about refinement, the new C4 Cactus has been improved in regards to soundproofing. So better materials have been used, the glass has been thickened, and the windscreen is now acoustic. But has it worked? Well, I'd like to say yes, it is quite quiet in here. Now, this car's got the bigger 17-inch alloys, so there is a bit of road noise that comes in every now and then, but at no point does it feel loud or uncivilized. There's also a little bit of wind noise, but again, it's not really anything to complain about. So on the whole, refinement is pretty good. Where this car really excels though is comfort. Now, the last C4 Cactus wasn't exactly uncomfortable. However, Citroen has made improvements to make this model even more comfortable. So to begin with, I've got these advanced comfort seats I mentioned earlier. They're made using a denser foam, so these seats and the rear seats for that matter are 15mm thicker, and these seats make their global debut in this car. They're also designed to offer more support as well, and guys, these seats are really, really comfortable. Picture your favourite armchair at home. This is what it is like. You sink into it as soon as you step into this car, and it feels really spongy and marshmallowy. It's really nice, guys. It really adds to the comfort of this car. Also helping with comfort is the new, well, it's new to European models anyway, progressive hydraulic cushions. So normally you've got your shock absorber, you've got your spring, and then you've got mechanical bump stops. Now what Citroen has done is it has thrown away the mechanical bump stops and replaced them with hydraulic ones. So when the suspension has got lighter decompressions or compressions, the hydraulic bump stops aren't really doing anything. They are just waiting in the wings, waiting to be called upon. However, when the suspension has a large impact, let's say you happen to hit a pothole, which is quite common around here in Surrey, the hydraulic bump stops kick into action. What they do is they absorb the energy, but unlike a standard mechanical bump stops, which will then feed the energy back into the impact, this actually gets rid of the energy. It disperses it. So that's the technical mumbo jumbo, but I'm sure you all want to know, does it work? Well, you know what? It does. Does this car give you a magic carpet ride like Citroen states? Not quite, but for a medium-sized family hatchback, it is very impressive. There is, of course, a downside to this, and that's handling. This car does not handle very well, but that's to be expected considering its comfort setup. So if you're looking for a car that's going to be dynamic, like let's say a Ford Focus, this car won't be for you. Now, in fairness, its handling isn't too bad, but yes, it's not exactly fantastic in the corners. There's a fair amount of body lean in the corners. Grip is good, I have to be honest. The steering weights up as you pick up speed, which is nice because when you're driving at slower speed, it's light, which is good for manoeuvrability. The brakes are pretty good, they're strong. The steering hasn't got a lot of life to it though.
Let's move things on by talking about the price. There's just two trim levels available for the new model, Fill and Flair. Fill starts from £18,505 and is able to offer features such as 16-inch alloys, air conditioning, 7-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth and smartphone connectivity, plus you also get front fog lights with cornering function, cruise control, autonomous emergency braking and lane departure warning.
And of course that leaves Flair, the range-topping model I have here. It starts from £20,405 and adds features such as tinted rear windows, 17-inch alloys, climate control, automatic lights and wipers, navigation, rear parking camera, rear parking sensors and a panoramic roof. So that's how much it will cost you to buy, but how much will it cost you to run? So as mentioned earlier, I've got the 1.5 litre diesel engine, which is the most frugal you can have for the Cactus. On a combined run, it offers 70.6 mpg, and in my experience I've been getting around 63 mpg, so not too bad whatsoever. And in regards to CO2, because this car's got the slightly larger alloys, it emits 97 grams per kilometre of CO2, meaning for the first year of VED you'll be required to pay £145.
So it shouldn't cost too much to run, but is it safe? The Citroen C4 Cactus has been awarded 4 stars from Euro NCAP, so it's not the safest in its class, although it's far from dangerous. As well as 6 airbags, the new model features autonomous emergency braking, speed sign recognition, lane departure warning, driver alert, hill start assist and reversing camera. Well, that's if you go for the Flair model. Blind spot warning can also be specified, but that is an optional extra.
So, the new C4 Cactus may have lost a little bit of its charm, but it's still got a fair amount of character and quirkiness. It's not the most dynamic car in its class or the most spacious, however, if it's comfort you're after, I really don't think this car can be beaten. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.